Welcome to another episode of bonus features on here. On Two Dudes in a Movie.
Get it all.
Yeah.
Gotta get in the mood.
I'm
Right.
Luke Parrish.
I'm AJ Ferguson.
And I'm Paul Tabling.
All right, boys. Today we are giving our thoughts on the Netflix documentary series Tiger King, which happens to take place, for the most part, here in our state of Oklahoma.
Okay, so public service announcement. We are not like the people on Tiger King.
We are not all meth head tiger owners.
We live in civilized portions of Oklahoma. I do know people who are from Wynnewood.
Yeah.
So shout out to those guys if they're listening. But,
I've been there. I've been through there many a times.
I think elementary schools from the city actually do send their kids down there, though. So
I almost went
did
there
you eat the
once.
pizza in the gift shop?
No, dude, I've never been there. I almost went there once.
Did you see? There's so many people on social media who are like so mad because they like ate the pizza at the gift shop, and they're like, it was the freaking food truck pizza, like the
the Walmart meat.
Absolutely.
meat. Oh, man.
Absolutely.
Oh man, yeah. So anyway, we're not in any way related.
And
to
we
the-
don't all ride to work on horses
Nope,
either.
nope.
I know that's not a part of Tiger King, but
no four wheelers, no
Yeah.
blowing stuff up in the
no.
backyard. He buys that whatever, the thermite or whatever he's blowing up. I have no idea what that stuff
There's
is.
kids in my school that rode their horses there.
Wow.
So
Luke's from the
Not
Luke's
all
more
of
from the
us.
country though. He's from Jones. Okay,
Yeah.
folks, what do we got? Episode 1?
Yeah, we're gonna go episode by episode. In the end, we'll give our overall thoughts.
Cool beans.
So let's start with episode 1. Not Your Average Joe.
yeah, not your average Joe. So Joe Exotic, the gun-toting operator of an Oklahoma big cat park, is accused of hiring someone to murder his chief rival, Carol Baskin.
No, it's Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin. Dude.
So literally,
so-
the first episode ends, and I'm like, okay, this has got to be like the setup for the show. Meaning everything else will like flatten out or get more normal as the show goes.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I was
it
like,
got worse.
It literally just goes, woo, and it just keeps on going.
It was so I've described, just for a couple of quick, first thoughts. I've described this show to people, for those of you who haven't seen it and might be wanting to watch it, this is like a train wreck.
Dude.
You're people, or a tornado,
Or a forest
people
fire.
watching. Yeah, you just sit and you're like, oh my gosh, it just gets worse and worse and worse, and by the end you're like, no way,
This is just a tiger business.
dude.
Like, look at this
It
stuff.
is insane. Well, so then you're like, okay, Joe's the weird one here, right? Everybody else
Right,
is
yeah,
like
because
relatively
you've got
normal.
like Joe, who they interview, and then you've got this other guy
Doc.
in this first episode. Yeah, I just called him by his first name. I forgot his name was Doc, but Bhagavan, because I thought it
Bhagavan.
was such a crazy name. But like I was like watching him, like, because at the beginning it's like any other documentary, they go through and introduce you to all the big players,
Yeah,
like Joe
Scarface.
Exotic. Yeah,
The guy that they wrote
Scarface.
Scarface based on is in the show.
And he's
You
the most normal one.
He's by far the most
Yeah.
normal person. Like, and then you got the chick. I don't know if the chick's in this part yet. The like yoga lady who like ran away from Doc Antles.
Oh no, that's
She's
in
on
a
this
later
part.
one.
No, that's
She's
later.
like the other like normal person in the show, and she's crazy too.
But yeah, so
Well,
you got
Carol Baskin.
Joe and Doc, and then you can get introduced to a couple other guys, like this
Dude.
Tim guy
Yeah.
who's crazy and always
Yeah.
carrying a monkey around.
Yeah.
And then at the end
Yeah.
of it, like you just hear Joe go, and Carol Baskin. And then it's like this evil villain montage
gosh.
of Carol Baskin.
Dude,
And so immediately the show steers you to hate Carol Baskin.
Yeah.
no duh.
And so like at the end of the episode, I was like, man,
Fatter for the
okay.
Tigers.
There wasn't a single time through this show that I didn't think that she didn't kill her husband.
Oh, no kidding, dude.
Okay, so my favorite part of the show, and I don't know if I'm jumping the gun or not. My
Nah, go
favorite part
for
of
it.
the show is, I think it's this episode or the second episode, when the guy, like the journalist guy who's interviewing people, we never
Yeah.
really see his face, but a couple
Yeah,
random
yeah.
times, and he's talking to Joe Exotic. And he's like, yeah, Carol killed her husband and whatever. And he just like keeps on talking. He's
Yeah.
like, whoa. Wait, what? And he's like, you never heard that story? He's like, oh, brother, here's the thing.
Yes.
So she killed her husband, cut him all up into pieces and then fed him to the tigers. And the guy's like, what? And it just like cuts like a whole episode about
Yes.
Carol. And I was like, this guy literally was just like walking around with a microphone, just like figuring stuff out and like
Yeah.
letting
Oh,
the
yeah.
story like fall apart in his lap. It was amazing. Like literally, he just had no idea what he was getting himself into.
Yeah.
The other producer guy he's cool.
The old guy?
The old guy
Yeah,
with the
'cause
cowboy
Yeah.
hat.
This is
Yeah.
another thing too. This is like a showception.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's talking about this guy up
Yeah.
top who's
Yeah.
producing the Netflix show, but then he's talking to this other guy who was producing like the Joe Exotic TV show or
right.
whatever, and then you got the people in it and everything
Well,
like
so
that.
it sounded to me like he wanted to produce a show similar to the Netflix show, but like just from Joe's perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was kept from doing that because the building caught on fire.
Yeah.
Lost all of his footage,
That was upsetting.
which is insane.
Oh, dude.
But yeah, dude. Well, and then Joe shoots his own TV shows at night for his,
Yeah, his
website
internet
or
show,
whatever. Yeah.
and then that's how they brought that guy in.
Yeah.
But
And reading her diary and stuff, which was hilarious.
Oh my
Jeez.
gosh. Well, and then like they're using like all that footage that he has of him like blowing up Carol Baskin. And
Oh,
shooting
yeah.
Carol Baskin. Like that's all part of the
Had
court
the,
trial.
Oh, yeah.
the blow up
Like,
doll. And,
So there's a meme, and it's a guy riding his bike, and it's Joe Exotic. It says Joe Exotic, like, you know, just living life. And then there next to it is a guy riding the bike, and he has a stick, and he's putting the stick through the tires. And it says Joe Exotic's bad decisions, and it just like is labeled on the stick. It's like, so it's like literally, like he is his own worst enemy throughout the whole show.
Totally.
no,
But,
for sure.
Oh my god,
Um,
it's insane, dude. Episode 1, like literally, I was like,
just being introduced to
can't
those
get-
people.
oh yeah, it was just a big explanation of
Well,
who everybody is, and because then you get introduced to Joe's like staff.
yeah,
Yeah,
like-
which they're all characters in their
Oh
own
my
right.
god,
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
the
Joe.
one
The
I
chick-
don't remember any of their names, but
Saf is the one who gets
lost her
her
arm.
chopped, which apparently is a dude. Didn't know that.
didn't.
yeah.
I don't know.
Or, yeah, she
Anyway.
like wants to be identified as a guy, but the whole show, like she was called.
But her arm got eaten off by a tiger.
well, is that
That's
episode,
the
is
important
that episode
part.
1 or 2?
I think that's episode. I
Maybe
think that's
3.
episode 2.
It's one of the earlier episodes.
Well, so we'll go on to episode 2.
Yeah.
It's called Cult of Personality, and I think
Yeah,
that's
that-
this one.
Introducing
Yeah.
all the zoo people.
Yeah, and so they introduce Saf,
Saf.
and so yeah, I think it starts off with like, oh yeah, somebody got their arm bit
Yeah.
off in the tiger cage,
Well, and
everybody's
sticking-
like, what?
And Joe, the first thing he does is run to his cabin to get his EMT jacket.
Yes.
You hold on tight. I'll be right back. And then he goes and doesn't get any medical equipment. All he does is put a jacket on.
He had a jacket for everything.
Dude,
for
yes.
like going out on a Saturday night. He had his EMT jacket. He had his like park ranger jacket.
dude.
He had like
He did.
The moment I knew this show was going to be insane, which I already kind of knew that going in because I'd heard all the stories or whatever,
Yeah.
was when she goes back to work within 5 days.
Right.
And
Yeah.
she chooses to have her arm chopped off.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the doctor's like, hey, you know, we can do surgery, we can do therapy, you get your hand back. She's like, no, I'll chop it off. I was like, wait, what? She's like, no, you didn't chop it off. And it cuts to her, and she's like sitting there, and I was like, oh my
Well, another thing is
God.
like
Yeah.
she probably didn't have the money to pay
Well,
for
that's-
all
well,
that.
that's
probably-
true.
Arm
Yeah.
reattachment.
Well, I
and
guarantee
all
you they
that,
didn't have
like-
any health insurance.
Yeah, no,
Well-
not from Joe.
You
Right.
think Joe had any insurance?
No.
Maybe it was included in her like rundown single wide trailer.
Well,
that
yeah,
she
and
gets
see,
for
that's the
working
other
there.
part of
The
this
$100
episode
a week?
is that how
7
little
days
they
a
got
week.
paid,
7
Yeah.
days a week, 12-hour days.
and then the food. That's this all
Yeah,
where
and
the
the-
food for
Yeah.
the animals comes in.
They feed the animals from that
Yeah.
old meat truck from Walmart.
But
Yeah.
Joe's thing is like he was somewhat smart though because he preyed on like people that were down on their luck, like
Right,
on like,
like
they had
felons.
Ex-convicts.
Yeah, and so he would hire them, and give them $100
Mm-hmm.
a week, and so he'd give them a chance at something.
Well,
so
he housed them. You know,
Yeah.
I guess the housing was awful,
Was
but
crappy.
it counts as part of your paycheck.
yeah,
Well, and honestly, Joe didn't. It's not like Joe was saving the money for himself
Dude,
either.
that's the
No.
other thing is like I just assumed that he was really wealthy.
Right.
The whole time. I was like, oh, he's just, really wealthy, living life, and then he's
And
got
is a
all these
jerk.
nerds back here, paying nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, he's just as broke as everybody else. Like he's
Yeah.
living off of scraps just like everybody else. Like he
Yeah.
eats the same food they do. I mean,
But-
oh my god.
But whenever you find, this is a later episode, because you find out like he's using his parent, he's going through his
Yeah,
parents'
he's using
money.
his parents' money.
He's using this person's
Well, he's
money.
using their-
Yeah.
And that's the scam as old as time. Like I've heard people that have kids, they'll open a loan in their 1-year-old's name
Yeah,
because they have good credit.
yeah.
Like that's essentially what was happening, except in reverse.
Is this the episode that we find out he has multiple husbands, or is that the first one?
I think that is also this one because this is also the episode that talks about Bhagavan and where he
All of
only
his
hires
wives.
women
Yeah.
and he like bangs all
Or
of
his
them.
partners, or whatever
His
he calls them.
his like sex cult thing that he's
Yes.
got going on.
Okay, so Joe is like insane, right?
Yeah.
And then it goes to Doc and like his story. I was like, Doc's crazier than Joe.
Dude.
Like he's literally
Yes.
pulling a shadier scam than Joe
It's like
is.
he buys them all houses, and they're all like
Yes.
have their own like
Yes.
street,
and they're like
then
literally like sex
he
slaves.
changes like
Yeah.
their
and he gives
names.
them, yes, yeah, he changes their names. He gets them super young, so they're
Yeah.
like virgins or whatever.
Yeah.
and so he's like manipulating them, like their
Did you
mind.
see his,
and he
like-
lets them play with his tigers and stuff.
And then the scene where he goes to that
Oh
big
my-
couch, you're like, that's an orgy couch if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Dude, like I literally was
Uh.
like, how is Joe not the craziest person on the show or the
Dude.
most disgusting person on the show?
Exactly, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and then it talks about I forget, is his name Tim? Is the redneck like up in Missouri or wherever he's
Probably.
With the monkey.
with the monkey?
With the
And
monkey,
he's
yeah.
like, yeah, I went to old Doc's, zoo there to learn about the animals and stuff. And I left, and I was like, I don't care about them animals. Teach me how you handle them women.
Yes.
How do you do that? Like, tell me your secret. And
Yes.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Like, and he rides up on an elephant.
Oh yeah.
And then he tells this Netflix crew, like, hey, I'm going to go around and introduce myself. You guys come on.
Oh,
in.
yeah.
He tells them how to, like, shoot the duck. Like, I
Yes.
was like, oh, my
Because
God.
He's like, he's a better director than us. The guy says at one point.
That's in North Carolina, right?
Yes.
He
South
basically-
Carolina,
Myrtle
maybe?
Beach.
Yeah.
He like owns that part of Myrtle Beach.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
has to.
He's so wealthy. He's by far the smartest character on the show, besides Carol, maybe. Depending
He's
on...
yeah.
He's very smart, and he's very manipulative, but he is so gross.
Well, you find out that he's most likely killing the tigers once they're like past
Yeah.
their,
Yeah,
their date.
He euthanizes the tigers after, like,
Yeah.
because tigers, like, they show you at one point in the show how valuable a tiger is over the span of its life, but like 95% of its value is in this window
When they're
from
young.
birth to like 6 months.
Yeah.
Because once they get bigger than this size, people don't want to hang out with them and hold them.
Well,
and
because
take
they're
pictures.
super dangerous.
Because they're dangerous. And so from age 1 or 6 months, honestly, past that, the tigers have no value other than people walking around and seeing the pet. Like, but they
Yeah.
don't make money off of that hardly.
Right. Yeah.
So he'd
it's like just
euthanize
normal in his. Yeah.
Like that one of his wives would be like, yeah, like my tiger was just gone like the next day.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like,
I think this is the episode where we meet the lady. Like, she was like, I want to be like an animal yoga instructor. Or
Yeah.
something.
She was the one who like escaped.
She like left the cult.
Yeah.
And like she's like normal, but she's still weird because she wants to do like animal yoga and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's still, I guess, normal. But
I
yeah,
think
so she
she
kind of gives us like the inside scoop.
she
on-
realized
him.
kind of what was going on. I think
Right.
but she was just not okay with it because he wanted her to get like a breast like
Yeah,
enlargement.
Oh yeah.
implant, yeah.
Which
Yeah.
she did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
says she. Yeah. Changed her name. Yeah. Got a boob job. And then like worked there for like 5 years.
Yeah, like 5 or 6 years.
I'm just like, oh my.
like
God.
right out of high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like, oh.
Well, she said because how she got there because it sounds like a dream. Like go and you just hang out with tigers all day, but then
Right.
you don't see like the behind the scenes of like
Golly, dude.
your cult.
Well, and they're
leader.
living the life too. Like they're up in those nice houses and getting to hang
Yeah.
out. But they're also working like 12-hour shifts, 7-hour days.
Right.
Or 7 days a week. But-
Yeah, and that was also another thing about with Carol's, like how she has all these
Bro,
events
yeah.
and like all of her people are volunteers.
Is the third episode the one where it's all about Carol?
Yeah, well,
think
the
it's the
third
third
one's
one.
all about killing her husband.
Right.
Yes, because she did.
Well, okay, so so the volunteer thing,
'Cause,
like
like,
she
they're
makes
talking
millions
about-
of dollars a year, and
Yeah.
she pays no one.
Yeah.
Like, everything that she ever does is staffed by complete volunteers.
Well, she doesn't even know some of the people's names.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
they have
and-
to be there for a certain
Yeah,
amount of
like-
time to
yeah,
become
well,
like
they have,
certain
like,
all the
status.
levels.
It's like a pyramid scheme. Like, here you get a T-shirt, you get a T-shirt, you get a T-shirt,
And once you get to like level
You get a
black or
t-shirt.
whatever, I know who you are.
Yeah, and
Below
all the-
that, I don't
All
care.
the people are in on it.
Yeah,
They're like,
dude,
yeah, this
they're-
is great.
well, and she has like 10 whatever million subscribers on YouTube and
And
millions
she
of
gets all the
followers on social
Facebook
media.
fundraisers where she gets
Yeah,
all that
dude,
money.
it
And I'm
is
like, that's just going
insane.
straight to your pockets.
Oh,
like,
Dude,
it has
yeah,
to be.
because when you actually look at her like setup,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god. Even on the TV show, I was like, this is a dump.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, like she literally has like 10 cats in there.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
the other crazy part about
Yeah.
it too. Is like, yeah, she like talks a big game and like, oh, we rescue animals and everything, and then yeah, it comes out that she's got like 12 cats.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've rescued these 12 cats, and how long have they been there? Like they've
You're
been
right,
there
yeah.
for a year. It's like you've only rescued 12 cats in 10, 15 years. Which, okay, like the whole show's about like animal rights and like whatever, like
Yeah.
conservationism, which like I think we would all agree that's a good cause.
Yeah.
Like save, the tigers.
Yeah, yeah.
How messed
like,
up like
but
the
do it
tiger
right.
world
But
is.
again, like the animals activist, like rights person on the show is Carol, and she's crazy.
Well, she used
Yeah.
to
and
breed
she's
tigers
making more
too.
money. Yeah, and she used to breed tigers too.
She,
Yeah, that was on the last episode when that stuff came out. I was like, wait, what?
Well, and then she's wearing like tiger print and stuff all the time. I was like, where do you think that? Like, oh my gosh. Anyway,
It's weird and
It's
like
crazy.
all the theories about what she did, like he's in like the septic tank or whatever.
Yeah, so that's the third episode. So let's get into the
Yeah.
Bro, the third episode is when I was like, this show is crazy.
yeah. So this
bonkers.
third episode is all about Carol's husband strangely dying.
Disappearing.
And disappeared. And so they get you like all with this CSI type stuff.
Yes.
And like, okay, so he drove his van here to his airport and he owned a bunch of planes and did all this. And then they even like bring in the husband's old like family, and they're just like, no.
There's like no way.
They're like, we just don't see it.
Well, then they find out that.
And then they're like, oh, we're deathly afraid of Carol.
Well, they found out that the family only got like 10% of his possessions.
Because she wrote him out of the will.
She got 90% of the will. And I was like, this chick is crazy.
Well, her brother works for the police department that is like doing the investigation or anything. It's like it couldn't be a more perfect setup.
Well, it's
for
Florida,
her.
so it's like, come on.
Well, and then you have
people are crazy in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
This was the craziest episode of the entire show for me, and I have no problem saying that.
No,
because like all the how she manipulated him from the start to like.
Well, then Howard's a sucker too. I mean,
the
way Howard.
That guy is simp at his finest.
Oh my gosh!
Goodness, I felt terrible for that guy. Which it's own.
Don't feel terrible. He's willingly doing it.
It's his own fault. I mean,
right?
That guy's the worst.
Apparently, he's like loaded too.
I'm sure they both are at this point.
She's like gold digging. Oh, dude. Yeah, she's like by far the wealthiest person on the show.
Oh, easily because she does all this stuff and makes money and doesn't spend any of it.
Little shots of her
and
riding
sues
the bike
everybody
through the park with like her little helmet on. I was like,
she's like the bad guy from a movie where like they're worshipped by someone, but someone's like sees through their escapade, and that's like Joe Exotic or somebody. But it's not crazy as Joe Exotic.
And what's crazy is Joe was probably right, like about almost everything.
Probably
like about her exploiting cats, making money off breeding, killing her husband, being just as bad as them. Like he was probably right about all that.
Yeah.
But Joe just went about it in the entirely
wrong way.
Well, and it's like it's the worst David and Goliath story ever because Carol has so much money to fight Joe
in court forever
all day long, and he has none.
Yep.
So he then
and then they lose the court case, and so he has to start paying her. And that's when she kind of starts like really putting on the.
When she goes after his parents' house, and you're like, "What the heck?"
Yeah,
really?
and then
parents' house.
So that's episode 4.
Takes the animals away, and
yep. So that's in episode 4.
That's when Jeff comes in.
Dude, okay, so I can't remember exactly where, but I'm pretty sure I've met Jeff Lowe somewhere in OKC before.
Really?
Yeah, I think I was out with a couple of friends and saw him somewhere in Bricktown or something or other. I don't know that I knew who he was.
Cool bad.
That guy's the worst.
He's literally like, he might be the worst person on the show.
Oh, dude.
That's not even really that big of a stretch, I don't think.
I wouldn't.
Oh, he's a con man. Like
he's a horrible person.
That mansion that he had was not even his.
Person.
Yeah, didn't own anything.
He pulls up in a Ferrari. It's like he's making payments on this Ferrari. Doesn't own it at all.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. Well, when he goes to Vegas like every other weekend.
Yep.
And smuggles tigers in with suitcases.
Smuggles tigers into suitcases into hotels to swindle ladies to come to his room to sleep with him so they can play with his tiger.
Well, he's married.
He's married, and his wife's apparently cool with all
She's significantly younger.
And
she's got to be like a gold digger kind of thing.
Well, and she's apparently open. Like, they have like an open marriage.
Yeah.
Like, they're like totally cool with all this stuff.
Every person that was introduced on the show was just freaking wild, except for the guy without missing both of his legs. He was wild.
Cool. I like. He's probably my favorite character on the show.
Dude, and the craziest part about that too, because they introduce him and you're like, oh crap, he got both his eggs eaten off by tigers. And then like later, he's like, oh no, I got just in a car wreck or something or other, and I was like, zipline accident.
Yeah, he fell and broke both his legs, and then somehow got paralyzed, and then just decided to cut him off and started doing like wheelchair stuff.
We're talking in like terms of normal, like we said the Scarface guy was the most normal out of like the cat people.
Yes.
But he was the most like
standard
normal person on the show.
And he also went to jail for like 30 years of like narcotics and murder and Grand Theft Auto.
Everyone is
But
everyone has
I forget that
skeletons
dude's
in the
name.
show.
John maybe is his name.
I don't remember.
He got the two broken or the two fake legs. He was by far the most like human being person on the show.
And maybe the producer guy, but
the producer guys were pretty.
I liked him too. He was pretty cool.
Yeah,
but so episode 4 is when Jeff shows up to bail him out with all the money,
right?
And then the guy, the freaking huge ugly dude with the weird haircut shows up because he's the one who basically has to pay Jeff because Jeff has no money. but he's like, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the fatter guy.
Yeah. He
ends up being the informant.
Yeah, he's.
Oh my gosh,
yes.
yeah, he owns like that random
owns a bunch
store
of
in
strip clubs
Wynnywood
and
that
Yes.
like nobody was
stuff.
ever in, and
Yeah.
looked
So he has
pawn
apparently
shop.
a bunch of money from whatever.
strip clubs.
And yeah,
Yes.
and Jeff has no money, so he has to give him money to give Joe money, and then Joe turns into this guy, yes man, basically just doing whatever Jeff wants. And
Right.
wow, that dude, like when those two guys roll in, that's when the show like just
Garrettson,
takes a turn for
James
the
Garrettson.
That's when the show takes a turn for the worse. I mean that like the show is like interesting. And like you kind of can root for some people and hate some people, and then at that point, everyone just turns bad.
Everyone sucks.
They just all turn, and you can't stop watching. I'm not saying the show is bad from that point on. I'm just saying it took like a deep, dark moral turn. And you're just like,
Yeah,
oh my
because I mean, this is like it's like I said, it's like watching a train wreck.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
keep seeing cars pile up.
it's horrible, man.
But then episode 5 is called "Make America Exotic Again."
Yes.
It's
So-
where he runs for governor or
Yeah,
president,
president first
and
and
then
then
governor.
So
of
I actually
Oklahoma.
have one of his shirts from his campaign,
Yeah.
and some of the
Love it.
weed
Yeah.
paper to roll, the rolled the blunts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything. He has like Joe Exotic branded like
Oh my gosh.
blunt paper, and like I have
Well,
that shirt too.
and he hires this kid from Walmart to come run his campaign because he's a political science major at some dumpy
Yes.
like junior college. And the kid's like, "Oh, it sounds great. It's a
my
dream job,
dream, yeah.
dream job." And I was like, "What in the world?"
Dude.
He says
Well,
like that was the biggest mistake of my life.
That's the character I feel the most
Yes.
Yeah.
bad
Yes,
for.
by far.
Because
him and the husband guy.
Travis.
Yeah, Travis.
Yeah.
Ripped that. I mean, that's such a terrible situation.
Well, like
Because-
they said,
yeah.
when someone's sitting there offering you all these drugs and this,
Well,
and like you can
yeah.
ride four-wheeler around.
Yeah, that's what all
four-wheelers and
this
shoot guns
episode's
around
about.
all
Episode
day.
6 is, to me, was the most emotional.
But he was
Oh,
so
is this
young.
5?
yeah, we're on 5 still.
Dude, 5. I don't remember 5 exactly. That's
No,
that's
this is the
campaign
president one. Yeah,
Okay.
where it's all about Travis and
Is
getting
this the
doped
one-
up
is
and
this
where he
where-
kills himself.
Okay, yeah. So the shot of the actual footage shot of the camera up in the corner,
Yes.
and Travis is under the camera, and all you can see is the flash of light and then the guy's face.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't believe it at
He
first.
literally is just like, he sits there for like 5 seconds plus, probably longer
Oh.
than that, honestly.
Easily.
And he's just like staring, and you're like, oh
And-
my gosh.
Yeah, and
Like,
there's no audio or anything, but you can like
No.
read his lips and he's like, "Travis?"
yeah.
And like he
Yeah.
like doesn't believe it
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Because Travis joked a lot about that kind of things. Like he'd always
When
pull
he said
a
he
gun
pulled
out and
guns
do
at
stuff.
people all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, gosh, that's such a terrible story. But
Well, he was so young, moved from California, like that. Like nobody deserves that life.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was awful, man. Yeah, and then like you said, the kid I feel the worst for is the political science major guy who ran the campaign.
Yeah.
Because he's just like trying to do his job, trying to do as best he can.
Yeah.
But he's trying to like corral Joe and like teach him how to do like decent, politics stuff. And oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that Joe was using the park money to run his campaign.
Oh,
which
right.
is
Yeah.
illegal.
Jeff's money.
Jeff's money, but it's illegal. But it's also stupid because like he's printing like Joe Exotic condoms on and
Yes.
like passing those out.
Okay,
And like
so
like flyers and stuff.
I'm not going to mention names, but I worked for a company that also did that exact same thing, and I know stole that idea from him. And I was like, "This is the dumbest idea I've ever heard."
Yeah.
And they went like places and like
That's insane.
through him.
I was like, "Oh my god."
Oh, dude.
So
Well,
the
it's just-
next episode is the one where Garrettson is like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, I'm an FBI informant," and Joe was trying to kill Carol Baskin.
Yeah.
And then same moment, the director's like, "What?"
The FBI's involved in this, and they're like, "Keep it rolling." Oh
Yeah,
my
the-
god, this is insane.
Well, yeah, and see, that's what the first producer guy was like. He told his camera guys, "It's like roll all
Roll
the time."
the camera.
Have we already passed where Joe
So do you think Joe burned the thing down?
I think Joe burned the thing down.
that episode
all the
5?
film and
Oh,
all that.
I don't remember where that was.
I think it's 5 or 6.
It was
the
somewhere
producer
in
guy's
there.
like, "I'm out," and he just like bails hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
I think
dude.
Joe absolutely did that.
I 100% think it was Joe. I'm in on that one.
I don't know. That's probably fair. I don't know who I think that was.
'Cause Joe's
I don't
mad.
think it was the producer guy.
No, they
'Cause,
showed the footage and it looked like him, But I was like, that makes no sense.
Well, it could
Yeah.
have been anybody. Like,
Why
from
would
the
they- oh,
angle
yeah.
and,
Yeah, no
like,
joke. It was dark. It's like Sasquatch.
I still
kinda.
believe it was Carol Baskin, but
That burned his house or burned the film stuff.
like she hired somebody to go do it for her.
Dude, no, there's like footage of like in the show they show footage of Joe putting all of his files and his computers in that ditch and then lighting a fire and putting explosives and stuff. Like that
Yeah.
perfect makes sense.
Well,
Perfect
he
sense.
got mad at the producer guy
Yeah.
because the producer guy had that contract, and the
Yeah.
guy's like, "No, I own all this.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I own
He just
you, like
burned
kind of
it.
thing."
Yep.
And so,
Oh, dude, it could have been anybody
Oh my God.
except the producer guy. 'Cause
I
that
thought-
was like his nest
No
egg.
joke.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's gonna make a fortune. Like, can you imagine if he was the one to produce Tiger King instead of Netflix? Like how
Right.
much money he'd be making?
Oh, dude.
But yeah, I mean, dude, like that was brutal because he's my favorite character on the show up to that point. Probably.
Yeah.
and it just like cuts to him at the fire. He's like smoking a cigarette and he like looks crazy. He's like, I had like a mental breakdown. I had to get out of there. I was like, I left that day, and I was like, oh my.
He's like, yeah, I took my dog and my clothes and I left.
that's insane.
Like, oh my goodness! Like this show just can't get any weirder.
Yes. Oh, I forgot about that. But yeah, we did pass that out a little bit.
Dude.
But yeah. So then now we're on to the whole
6.
Carol Baskin murder.
Yeah, this
Or
is the,
attempt.
This is the court
Yes.
case. Episode 6 is the court case, and all the money's draining, and the park's getting run down, and the employees are getting feisty, and it's just kind of all coming together.
Oh yeah.
And Jeff's taking over, and
And then and then we get this whole James Garretson guy who's
James
like,
Garrison's doing the FBI.
oh yeah, we totally hired this
Yeah.
Alan guy
And
to
Alan,
go
yeah.
kill Carol
Yeah.
Baskin.
Yeah, just friend.
Alan. Oh my gosh, what a
Ex, like,
creepy
felon.
looking dude.
That
Like,
guy, yeah.
like the teardrop tattoo. I was like, oh.
Well, him and Joe didn't get along at all.
Oh,
and
he
it was,
hated-
just, it was
he
a
hated
big
Joe.
mess.
Oh my god.
But so they get into this whole thing
That's
about
when they find the antenna on the roof, and they're like, "Oh, look at that!"
oh yeah, there's
Joe's paranoid
sound-
about everything.
yeah. Joe's like terrified, and he's oh
Yeah.
my goodness. And this is when Joe gets hit by the tiger, right? And the tiger like he gets in the cage, and the tiger. bites
yeah,
his
he
leg.
almost gets eaten by the
Uh-huh.
tiger and also almost shoots the tiger.
And this is when Carol says you got to use sardine oil to get someone on you. And I was like, "How do you know that,
dude,
How
and
do
see
you know that?
that's
Did you
what I'm
literally-
saying
you
too.
use sardine oil to kill your
She
husband.
didn't even stutter
I
or stop
know,
to
I
think
was
about
like-
it. It's like, you gotta put sardine oil
Well,
on
she even
it.
says like you don't use cologne for that. You use sardine oil. I was like, oh my gosh, this is basically
Yep.
this is a confession. Like she literally is confessing.
Dude, that's why she's suing.
oh my god.
Golly, man.
I don't see, like, how is it not obvious to everyone else? Like,
Oh,
come on.
well, okay, and then it comes out. Is it at the end of the show, or is it? I can't remember if it was during the show or during the post episode. Whenever the producer guy says that the white tiger that Joe always like uses for all of his like promotional stuff is blind, and that's why he was so confident and so comfortable to be around the tiger. He was actually like kind of scared of tigers.
Huh.
He's scared of the big ones.
Heck yeah.
But that's why he uses the white one all the time.
Well, the white one's in all on the billboards when you drive down towards
Yeah.
when
That's
you
why
would.
he uses the white one all the time.
Because it was blind?
Because it was blind, and it made him
Dang.
feel more comfortable. Because he was
That's-
actually scared. So he was like
Well.
the Tiger King or whatever. I think that's in the post episode actually.
Okay.
It is, 'cause
yeah,
I don't
didn't
remember that.
I didn't know
I
that.
think it was
Yeah.
in the end of, but anyway, so yeah, the producer guy leaves, and I was like, "This is going down," because he's like the only guy there who has any brain on his
Yes.
shoulders
Yep.
whatsoever. Like he's the kind of guy who's like, "Okay, this situation's insane. I want to
Yes.
film it, but like let's make sure it's handled at least a
Yeah.
little bit.
At least
right?
nobody would die.
Right. But then he leaves. I was like, dude, there is nobody left to say no
Yeah.
to anyone else.
Yes.
And then Jeff and Joe get in a fight in the office at one point. He like punches
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the cabinet thing.
Oh, yeah, because
Because see, that was another
Gosh.
thing that's the bad part about this show, because you realize how smart and conniving Jeff is, because he recorded everything.
Yeah.
yeah.
And especially in situations where, I mean, he had to have like looked at whoever was recording it and was like, all right, I'm going to go in and I'm going to stir the pot and you're going to record it. And I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Oh.
Scammy, scummy dude.
Okay, so the footage that they use whenever they record Garrison, it looks like it's like in a guy's shirt.
Yes.
It's like super sketchy.
yeah.
Like, how did they get that? Like legally, how did they like? Does he know about the footage or like?
Well, as far to my knowledge, it's kind of the same thing with like what the producer guy earlier was saying, is like they own the footage. They can use it however they
Yeah.
want.
Interesting. I guess
So-
he's not. He's an informant, so it's like it's not being used against him. like in a court of law.
Right.
So it's just for like entertainment. I guess
And
it
that's
doesn't-
probably, they probably had to vet all this crap,
Yeah.
especially if it had anything to do with Joe's case, because
Gosh.
that's also the last episode is where we actually see like Joe
Yeah.
getting tried. Well, we don't see it, but like he's getting tried and all this crazy stuff about attempted murder on Carol.
Okay, so what's his name? Alan takes the money
Oh yeah,
and then goes and parties in
yeah.
South
Doesn't
Carolina.
even go to Florida.
Goes to a strip club and
And then they interview him in the bathtub, which is probably the
Weird.
most weird
Yeah.
interview in the show. He's like, "Oh yeah, I hate Joe, but he's gonna give me free money to do nothing. I'm not going to Florida. I'll just take the money and go home."
yeah.
I was like,
$3,000 is all it
like,
was.
"Oh
too.
yeah, I'll like tacitly, verbally agree to murder someone just to get some spending party money to go."
Yeah.
like,
Well, and at that point, you're like, man, you can use that $3,000 towards something like
no joke,
good.
a car, a house.
I
like
don't-
any normal person, anything.
I think it was Doc who ended up saying something like, "Dude, he should have known immediately. You can't get a guy for $5,000
Yeah,
to
well,
kill
And
somebody."
then Doc
Yeah.
was like, "That costs at least $100,000, at least."
Yeah,
I was like,
I
how
was
do you
like,
know
what?
that? How do you know that?
Every single
my
one of them
gosh.
has a book that's just like
I know.
shady
I
things
was
and
like,
their
how
prices.
do you know that? They kept talking about this like super shady black market of like animal trading and moving. And I was
Yes.
like,
Yep.
oh, these guys are insane. They're like drug traffickers. Like they
Yeah.
literally, it's like the cartel. Like they're a giant cartel, and it's all over the U.S. And then instead of trading drugs, they trade friggin' like huge
Tigers.
exotic animals.
Yeah.
Like what in the
Dude,
world is
yeah.
happening?
Well, what sucks is like I think this is in the last episode is because Joe, they start talking about how Joe like, and they start showing footage like he wasn't always like this. Like
Yeah,
he
like
was
at the very
originally like
beginning.
about the animals. It was
Yeah,
about
they
this,
show
about
footage
that.
from like 2003 or 2004
Yeah,
or
and
whatever.
I think like the whole like
Yeah.
Carol Baskin thing and all this like extra stuff just started piling on.
Well,
and,
and
he
his
started
ego
going.
gets in the way big
Yep.
time. Once he starts getting like relatively famous, and he becomes
Yeah.
more about himself. And
Yeah,
the
and that was the big thing too. It was all about his ego because like the big throne they made him and all that
Dude,
stuff.
Yes, and he, like the producer guy said, he like watched that shot like over and over.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
come on, Joe.
Well, he gets another husband at this point, Dylan, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Finds
And-
another one that
and, like-
actually.
And he invites,
Dude.
he invites Travis's mom to the wedding, and it's like just her.
Dude, and this is
And he
also.
posts it to social media to like
Yes.
show that she like.
Well, it
approves.
turns out Travis and the one before, neither of them were
straight.
actually, or both of them were actually straight.
That
right?
was the craziest part about the entire show for me.
Really?
That he manipulated so easily these two straight guys
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and they were just like, yeah,
Well, it's
whatever.
because he gave him stuff.
Well,
like,
and Travis,
Oh, man.
he knew that Travis didn't really want to be in that relationship without the drugs.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so he just kept him high, like
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like just kept pumping him with marijuana.
Dude.
and
Well,
meth
this
and whatever.
Dylan guy, like willingly, like he
Dylan
knew,
was,
he
like-
knew
Yeah.
Joe
He was just
Exotic's
chill.
life was
and
in
he
like
knew
the
was
crapper.
he knew he was insane, and he
Yeah.
still chose to marry
Well, and
him.
their age gap was like 30
Oh,
years.
it was so gross. Like literally, I'd like
Dude.
close my eyes every time they like kissed. I was like, oh.
The cringiest moment was the Travis's funeral.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When
gosh,
Joe's
100%.
like
dude.
singing and dancing.
Ugh.
making like still making it about himself.
Yes.
He has no awareness, like self-awareness, any kind of social.
No, he's a performer.
Like,
Everything's
he's-
about
yeah,
him.
for sure. I mean, 100%. Okay, so a couple of just big questions, I guess.
Yeah, just some last overall thoughts. And
Yeah.
if you want to talk about, because you're the only one, sounds like, who watched the
Bruh.
episode 8.
Okay, so if you haven't watched the show, then watch the show. It's amazing. It's insane. Like literally, it's insane.
Train wreck on fire in a tornado.
Dude. Absolutely.
And, yeah, 100%. The last episode. Okay, so what they do is they call everyone who's not in jail, and they say, "Do you want to be on this post show with Joel McHale?" And we'll all zoom in and we'll just interview each other during the quarantine.
Yeah.
And so Joel McHale is a relatively famous guy. He's a star from Community. He's kind of has his own TV show now, but Netflix calls him up and hires him, and he does this thing. And it's the ex-husband with the tattoos, the long hair guy, the no legs guy,
Wouldn't Jeff?
producer guy, Jeff and Lauren, his wife, and then there's one more. I can't remember who it is. Oh, it's the political science guy. Yeah.
Oh,
So those
gosh,
guys,
that poor
and so
guy.
he interviews them all one at a time, about
Okay.
5 to 7 minutes each. Asks them how they're doing, what their life is like now that they're famous. Asks them how they feel about the show, whether they watched it or not. Oh, Saf is on there too.
Okay.
Whether they regret anything, whether they still side with Joe, or whether they think justice was done, all this kind of stuff. And dude, it is bizarre. Like some of the answers they get. I mean, it's crazy.
I'll have to check it out.
I might have
It's
to
worth your
watch
time.
it.
It's only like 45 minutes long. It's worth your time. I watched it almost instantly when the show ended because I was like, "This is too crazy. I gotta watch this." The long-haired guy is the funny. He's the first one. He's by far the funniest. Oh my gosh, he's so funny.
He's like a fry cook now, right?
Yeah, he's like, I get
Yeah,
all
it
these
just works
emails
so well.
now. People think I was like, super high all the time, like doing drugs. Like I never touched drugs a day in my life. I just look like that, talk like that. That's just kind of how I talk. Oh my gosh, yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like the people on, I mean, they're still insane. I mean, they're just as crazy, but they're a little bit more self-aware because they know that they've been portrayed as these crazy people.
Yeah.
So they try to be more normal, but.
Well, it's one of the most
worth your
wild
time.
shows I've ever watched in, I think,
easily,
in my life.
easily.
Okay,
All right,
so
couple
do you
questions.
think Joe deserves 20 whatever years he's getting?
I thought he was getting like 70 years.
It's down to 22 is what I've heard, because originally he was up for 79 years, but the judge gave him 22, and then with good behavior and whatever parole, he can get out in 12 or something like that.
Man, I think his life is like legally, yes, I think he does deserve like 20 years, but man, I'm like, that guy's life can't get any worse, to be honest.
What's crazy, and it's really ironic.
I think they all deserve to be in jail, personally.
Absolutely.
Dude, okay, so literally that's what was my next question. Okay, so who all, in your opinion, deserves to be in jail?
Carol Baskin
Joe?
deserves life.
Carol,
Joe,
Doc,
yeah,
Jeff.
yes.
Scarface guy did his time.
Yeah, he already
Yeah,
did
he
his time.
did his thing. Like,
I'm
he's
sure
good.
Tim is in some shady stuff somewhere.
Probably.
Alan deserves to be in jail, in my opinion. I mean, you can't just take money to go murder someone and then decide not to do it and not
Yeah.
go to court. Like,
Right.
Like, I thought about it.
I took the money. Like, that's intent. That's at least
Dude,
something.
I bet you that Garrettson guy's in some
Oh,
crap,
dude,
too.
yeah, I forgot about him. So I would say 7 people on the show.
Oh, easily.
Easily deserve to
Yeah.
be in jail, or at least go to court and figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, have all the stuff come out and then let's talk about it.
Dude, I bet you Carol's husband could probably go to jail for like some conspiracy stuff, too.
Yeah, I mean that.
Them two.
That guy.
They probably helped cover it up, like, if anything. Like,
Exactly, dude.
He knows where the body's buried.
You know,
Yeah.
Alan, this is conspiracy theory time. Alan probably went to them and was like, "Hey, look, Joe hired me. How much money you gonna pay me not to kill
Bro,
you?"
Yeah.
no chance. Alan's not that smart. Alan literally saw
Man.
the $3,000, spent half of it on strippers and marijuana in South Carolina, and then took a hot tub bath, and that was it. He didn't think about it again. Like, he's so dumb, that guy. I mean,
Man,
he's gonna
ugh.
come and murder me now because he
Oh,
listens.
we'll be all right.
Yeah, hopefully. Gosh. Like, okay, if you saw any of these people in real life, what'd you do? Would you smile? Would you wave? Would you ask for a picture?
Depending on who it was.
Are they famous enough for that, or is it still just like, I mean, that was a cool show, but like, whatever.
I don't know. None of them are famous to me,
'Cause-
like,
okay,
at
so-
all. Like,
Every single one of them said in the post show.
Yeah.
Every single one of them said, I've had so many people. It's quarantine. Like nobody's supposed
Yeah.
to be out or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So they're like out in a Walmart getting groceries, and people are still walking up to him asking for autographs, asking for pictures, no matter where they are. The producer guy lives in Norway, and people go up to him every day. Tiger King, and because they don't speak English, they speak Norse or whatever.
Yeah.
Tiger King, and he's like, yep. And people like want to take pictures of him all the
Wow.
time.
That's
In Norway,
crazy.
it's like, oh my gosh.
To me, they're still regular people.
See, that's how I feel. I'd be like, hey, how's it going?
Well, some of them are taking advantage of it. Like, you guys know the
for
app
sure.
Cameo?
Yeah.
Like, where you can get on there and, like, there's all these celebrities on there and you can pay them, like, a certain amount
Oh,
of money.
yeah,
and they'll
yeah,
give you,
yeah.
give you a shout out or
Yes.
something like that. So I know Jeff's on Cameo and, like, I'm like, of
course.
course that guy's on
What a
there.
tool bag.
Yeah, he
course.
walks
If I saw
straight
Jeff
out of
in real
Buckle.
life, I would. I don't know.
All the Affliction shirts and the bandanas.
So then Joel McHale says, how many Affliction shirts you think you have? He goes, like 60 or 70. I was like,
Oh my God.
That's
my
like, and honestly,
gosh.
that's embarrassing. Like, to even have an Affliction
Well,
shirt.
then he says, how many leather jackets do you have? He says, oh,
Like-
at least 80. And I was like, oh my god.
Because he wears the same thing every day.
I was like, he wears
Yes.
the same outfit every day, but he has like an alternate. Like,
Well,
it's
yeah,
like the
yeah.
same outfit, but just
It's a
rotates.
shirt
Yeah,
and
just
jacket.
rotate. That way he keeps stuff clean.
Well, because then
Yeah.
Joel McHale's like, I've never seen you wear the same shirt or jacket in the show twice. And the show covers a span of like years.
yeah.
And he was like, yeah, probably didn't happen. I was like, this guy. Oh my gosh.
Dude.
Okay, so jail time, we talked about favorite character.
Ooh.
Long hair guy is up there for me. And then the no legs guy. I'd say those
I
two.
like the long-haired
Rinky.
blonde guy.
Rinky. That's John
Yeah,
Rinky.
John Rinky.
That's his name. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought of it just now.
Those two guys.
And that would be to answer your other question. If I saw him, I probably would be like, "Yo, dude, what's
Bro,
up?"
how are you normal? Like, how
Yes.
are you
Yeah.
not?
That'd be the
like
only
this?
person I would want to go up and talk to. Everybody else, I'd like, grab my phone and get like a picture from like 20 feet away. All right, click. All right, there was Carol Baskin. You know what I mean? Like,
if I saw Carol, I'd be like, "What's up, Carol?"
Oh, dude.
I'd call 911 is what I'd do.
If she ever goes out, people are yelling at her, "Did you kill your husband?"
There's still those people that like worship her that are all like, "Hey, all my cute cats
I told
and
y'all she's
kittens,
gonna
it's
sue
another
Netflix.
meow meow." And
Whatever.
I told you
the
she's
dumb.
gonna sue Netflix. Like she's legit gonna sue the biggest company in the world besides like Apple or Google.
She'll probably freaking win too.
Oh my gosh, it's insane.
She'll be owning Netflix before too long.
Can you imagine if Carol wins the lawsuit and they're like, "Oh, you just have the company." Like,
Dude.
what?
oh my gosh, she's the worst, man.
Okay, so best moment in the show, funniest, best. I don't know, whatever, however you want to interpret that.
Okay, funniest moment, I can easily say that, was they were talking about, I don't remember which one, it may have been like the investigating...
The county sheriff.
Yeah, the county sheriff in Wynnewood is talking about how they always had to go up there and everything, and talking about the different people in the park and everything, and he's like, and then we got, something we call around here, we call it meth mouth. And then they
Cuts instantly.
to the first husband guy smiling.
He's like,
Me and my wife laughed. We had to pause the show. We were laughing so hard.
It's like Gollum. He's like,
You're like 3 teeth.
looks like Gollum. He legit looks like Gollum. Oh
That
my
was definitely
gosh,
the funniest moment of the entire show.
dude.
Man, I don't know if I have a funniest moment. Just like the whole show in general. Like, I think it was more like the surprise of like,
It's insane.
and
Dude.
like it's like, by the way, her brother works for the police department. I was just like, what? Like, there was a lot of surprises for me.
Yeah.
Just like
Dude.
every once in a while.
My favorite is whenever he says, "This is my way of living, and no one gonna tell me any different." And he cuts right to him with an AK-47 and a block of friggin' C4, and he just shoots it, and this whole tree goes, and the tree like falls down.
Yes.
I was like,
Oh my
first
gosh.
of all, why did you include that in the show? Second of all, he does that for fun. Like, he has like this property, he just goes out and
Yeah.
blows junk up on. You can see like it goes to the same place over and over. It's like the
Yeah.
little water,
Yeah.
and like front with like the little trees.
Like
Yeah.
a pond.
Like, oh my gosh, like what in the world,
Dude,
the meme game is. Have you guys gotten on like Reddit or anything? And
Yeah.
look at, dude, I literally scrolled probably 45 minutes the other night. No joke, just like laughing, scrolling. Like some of those memes are so.
Dude, I
funny.
love some of the best ones I've seen are comparing the characters to cities,
Yeah.
like around the metro or whatever. And Edmund was Carol Baskin, and I was like, no,
But we are 100%
Dude,
Carol Baskin.
Come on, Edmund.
Dude.
Come on, Edmund. Bro, no, have you seen the one? It says Hot Pockets in the microwave, or it's gosh, what is it?
Versus Hot Pockets in the oven.
It's not Hot Pockets. It's
No, it's the
It's
pizza,
pizza
rolls.
rolls. It's pizza rolls in the microwave, and it's the guy with the teeth.
Yeah.
It's like, and it says pizza rolls in the oven, and it's a guy. It's the same guy with the new teeth. And he's
Yeah.
like smiling and looking great.
Yeah.
oh
So
my
funny,
god,
dude.
No-
dude. Oh no, another one I've seen is comparing that same guy to Dave Bautista that plays Drax.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, have y'all seen
yes.
there's like a really big like, internet following right now of people who are like trying to cast the like Tiger King
Yes,
movie.
yes.
And so they're like have all these actors like next to all the people.
Yep.
And so they want Matthew McConaughey to play Joe
Joe
Exotic. That was like
Yes.
that would be amazing.
That's a
Oh
dude.
my gosh. Dude, yeah, Drax, Dave Bautista, that'd be a funny one.
They use all of Joe Exotic's songs on
Yeah.
TikTok for
Dude, the
for
music
that
video.
stuff.
Okay, so how long did it take y'all to figure out that it's not actually him singing?
Oh, instantly.
Instantly?
Oh, pretty.
that
The
doesn't
first
even-
song, I was like,
doesn't even sound remotely close.
the
to
first
him.
song I listened to,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe that could be him with like some auto tuning or whatever.
Woke up this
And
morning.
then the next scene or whatever, he's like singing in the truck, and I was like, nope, that's not him.
Yeah,
There's no
absolutely
way
not.
that's him. And then I saw Tiger,
Yeah.
the Tiger saw me, or whatever that song is.
Dude, oh my god.
He's like on top of a police car in a thunderstorm with his boots on.
Yes, it's a fake thunderstorm too.
Yeah,
it's
a
like
fake thunderstorm. He's not playing the music at all.
like
like
some
he's just
parts of it you're
strumming.
like, man, that's decently shot, and so some parts you're like, nope, nope.
Oh my god. Okay, so most ridiculous moment in the show
when he almost got ate,
by the
and,
tiger.
and they just stood there.
Oh,
Yeah.
nobody ran in to help him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, nobody liked Joe. Like,
Dude.
nobody.
To me, it was Carol Baskin's like her volunteers that were just like not even like aware.
mindless.
And then her getting all this money from these Facebook fundraisers that she does, which you're like, that goes straight to your pocket. Like, this isn't going towards the park. That goes towards her, like, bicycle that she bought at Walmart, the lowrider thing. And then, like, their house is full of just random crap.
Dude.
Their nice house,
Yeah. The craziest moment for me, man, there's so many. Honestly, it might have been the pizza thing. That he was feeding his employees the same day-old meat that he was feeding the
those employees willingly took it.
The employees were willingly taking it, but feeding the customers.
The customers, yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant. Because the employees knew that was where it's coming from, but the customers had no idea.
And then I think it was Rinky in a video, was like, that's the best pizza I ever had. Mm-hmm. And like right after he's talking about like, getting this day old meat or expired meat. And I was like,
the way they lined up the documentary was perfect. It was great.
Okay, so I forget what episode it is. Maybe 6 or 7. Rinky pulls up in his like weird 3-wheeler like Corvette.
Yes.
Whatever.
With the skeleton.
With the skeleton in the thing. And I was like, what the crap is that? So then I find a meme of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so the show is so weird and so crazy that they didn't even feel the need to explain what that was. They just blew right by that. At that point in the show, they were like, it's not even important. Just keep going.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's one of the most normal.
Have y'all seen the meme where it's like just a picture of like trees? And it's like pictures of trees with like a little ring in the corner, and it's like how Joe Exotic sees the world. He's
got that eye ring.
Yeah,
it like blocks everything. It's like peripheral vision's like completely covered in.
So I have a question. So I know all three of us were skeptical to watch this show. We were none of us were high on it before, like initially when it came out, because I didn't watch it that first week. I watched it.
I didn't either.
I just watched it this week.
It'd been probably 2 weeks after it came out. I finally caved. I was like, all right, fine. Like I'm tired of like hearing all this stuff about it.
Yeah.
So were you guys like happy that you watched it? Like, did your opinion change after you watched it?
Yes, for me, I always knew I wanted to watch it. I just never got around to it. And then this week I had some free time, so I watched it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I think I don't regret not watching it earlier.
Yeah.
But I definitely regret not like being as excited about it as I should have been.
Yeah.
Because it is insane. I remember watching the trailer. Like every time you open Netflix, like the first thing that they have that they want to promote or whatever pops up. For me, it was Tiger King for like weeks.
Yeah.
And I just kept watching that trailer, and I was like,
it was the number one show in America.
Well, okay, so
or in the world for a while.
Well, yeah, and
it still might be.
I think it's the most watched thing on Netflix ever, besides Stranger Things season 3. Maybe
it is.
It's right there. It's like, and it's neck and neck with Stranger Things season 3. Like it'll pass it this month probably. So for me, I would say yes. It for sure was worth it. It's not a very big commitment either. It's only 45-minute episodes times what, 7?
8 if you watch it.
Yeah. So it's like not that big a commitment either. I would say for sure yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Paul?
I would agree. I mean, I my whole thing was like, I didn't really understand what the show was about. I thought the show was all about him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my God. And I told people this multiple times. I was like, I've lost enough brain cells in my life. I don't need to lose more.
Yeah.
But like once I like dove in, I was like, okay, because my wife is honestly the one who convinced me, because she's like, okay, I was at work the other night because she's a nurse and occasionally they'll have downtime, and one of the other nurses was watching it on her phone, and she watched part of it and she said, we need to watch this. And I was like, ugh.
So she liked it?
She seemed to have liked it.
Did Danielle watch it?
But dude,
Danielle watched it. Danielle liked it. Probably more than I did.
Really?
Yeah.
The thing, and this is just kind of how I am, and I know she's the same way. We had to watch it in chunks. We could not sit down and binge it because it's so dark at points.
Yeah, that's true.
And very depressing. And like certain things like that just really get to me pretty quickly.
Okay.
And so like I had to we kind of had to watch. We watched like the first couple episodes one night, and then like another couple, and then like we
did the same thing.
We I know there are people that could just sit down and watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like that's not us. But if you break it up and things like that,
I did it in 2 sittings. I did 1, 2, 3, and then 4 through the end.
Yeah, I think we could have done that.
You did 3,
but we did like 1, 2, 3, and then like 4, 5, 6, and then like 7, 8, like another night or something or other. But it just for me, like I had to break it up. But
yeah. I mean, dude,
I don't regret it.
Yeah.
But I probably won't ever watch it again.
Yeah, I mean, I won't either.
Well,
and that's kind of the downside to documentaries. Like, documentaries are just such a one-watch
one-off thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of hard to rewatch. because it's so raw the first time because it's real people.
Right.
Dramas you can watch over and over because it's different and you can pick up on different things and whatever. But documentaries are just very kind of one hit.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of this show is why it's not rewatchable is because it was the initial wow factor of all these like
100%,
twists and turns and just like
100%.
because then all of a sudden you already know and you don't have this stuff that you keep watching. But
I did think it was interesting that they kept showing him in prison, not showing him in prison.
Oh, like doing the
calling
video calls,
doing the calls. Yeah, every episode started with one of those.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was interesting that they kind of revealed that earlier than obviously waiting for us to hear. I guess it's kind of common knowledge.
I can say for here in Oklahoma,
I knew he was in jail before, but
Yeah.
we all knew that obviously. But
Well, and to be honest, I didn't know why, because the whole show until like the when they started talking about the murder, I thought he had gotten somebody to kill her. I thought, and then that's when I was kind of bummed out because I was like, oh my gosh,
she's still
she's still alive. What?
Still kicking.
Yeah, no,
Still
it was
making money.
good. I was skeptical, but like I was glad I watched it. It was I'd recommend it to people. Like
Yeah, for sure.
it's crazy. But is that all we got? I mean, I'm sure we can talk a lot more
I
about
probably
it.
could talk about it
But
for a long time. But
man, but thanks
it's
all
just
the time we got
insane.
for on this bonus feature.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for listening. I think we all recommend Tiger King if you haven't watched it already. Like the millions and millions of people who have,
Dude.
check it out for sure. And we will catch you next time.